Alright guys, time for another update. It looks like there has been a twist, and everybody who was saying that this guy was in the wrong is right. Uh, because of a series of events. So here's the video of Ahmaud Arbery inside of the construction site that the McMichaels saw him go into. This is the video footage. It's 8 seconds. Or at least that's all I can find without any like audio or anything. So he doesn't touch anything. And what's really interesting is the homeowner is coming out saying that he doesn't feel like a crime was committed on his part, which unfortunately isn't true. He's trespassing at this point, which makes the McMichaels completely validated. And I can't say that I'm upset about this. The whole reason I was defending Mr. Arbery being the victim here is because I don't want to be in a position where someone just assumes that I was somebody who was related to a crime that had previously happened and that they're going to detain me, and if that I don't want to be detained, that they're going to shoot me. But apparently that they're completely valid, and here's why. Regardless of the fact whether Mr. Arbery thought that his life was in danger when they pulled up beside him with the guns drawn, he didn't have the right to attack him. He'd been trespassing. Georgia law states that they had the right to detain him. I don't know if they saw him in, but I'm assuming they saw him come out. But whatever, it seems more likely now that the McMichaels are going to get off, which is great because the last thing that we need is this to be some type of racially motivated shooting. And I always want the side of justice to prevail. So if he's in the wrong, he's trespassing, and then they have the right to detain him under Georgia law and make a citizen's arrest, and he tries to fight them off while they're armed, then and he ends up dead. Well, fuck it. It's easy. This is what's great about this country, guys. I can look at the evidence that has been presented to me and have one opinion, and then when more evidence comes out, I can look at that and say, "Oh, my opinion previously was wrong." Based on the facts that we had before, Mr. Arbery was in the right. Now, based on the facts that we have with this video, it's good. I don't want to hear about anybody's opinion. If the McMichaels are like, oh well, we did, okay, you can say whatever you want. I want proof. This video, this is proof. This is proof that that same day he was here. These are the clothes that he was shot in. This footage was there that same day. So let's read this article before we go. An attorney representing the homeowner of a construction site involved in the Ahmaud Arbery case issued a statement condemning the actions taken by Gregory and Travis McMichael. I have to disagree now. He's trespassing, and the Georgia law states that they have the right to detain him. If you don't like that, then you need to be writing someone to get Georgia law to change. But you can't condemn someone for following the law, all right? A brief surveillance clip appears to show a man that looks like Arbery inside the home minutes before he was killed on February 23rd. A neighbor called 911 and reported someone in the house that afternoon. The home was under construction and not locked. So the person who's getting this bill, or the foreman, or anyone involved with the actual construction of this home, did not call the police and didn't know anything about it until after he was already dead. Okay. The McMichaels told the McMichaels told responding officers that they chased Arbery because they thought he was responsible for recent break-ins in the neighborhood. However, the only theft reported to police involved a gun stolen from Travis McMichael's unlocked truck, according to reports provided to WTOC by the Glenn County Police. Like I said, if you go and watch my, I want to say, first video, I say that they say a string of break-ins, and since February there has only been one reported break-in in this neighborhood, and that seems to be it. The revelation of this new video showing a man that looks like Arbery inside the home prompted the GBI to respond. The agency confirmed they had the video as evidence, but pointed out that they had it before arresting the McMichaels. Below is the entire statement from the homeowner's attorney, Elizabeth Grady. Mr. English wants to correct the mistaken impression that he has shared this video or any other information with the McMichaels prior to the McMichaels' decision to chase Mr. Arbery. The homeowner has not even seen the February 23rd video before Travis McMichael shot Mr. Arbery. When homeowner Larry English saw the videos of Mr. Arbery that were later broadcast, his first impression was that Mr. Arbery was not the man captured on video inside the house on February 23rd, and he said that to a neighbor. So he doesn't think it's the same person. Interesting. I didn't read this beforehand, if you guys didn't know. In the months prior to February 23rd, a motion-activated camera had captured videos of someone inside the house, which was and remains a construction site at night. Mr. English has never said that Mr. Arbery was the person. Oh, they're talking about the previous video. Okay, so Mr. English is saying that a previous break-in that they have footage for at night is not the same person as Mr. Arbery during the day. I got it. Mr. Arbery was the persons in those videos, and he does not see a resemblance now. After the first time that video captures someone in the house, Mr. English contacted law enforcement on a non-emergency number and made them aware of the unauthorized entry into his property. Okay, so the police report must not be saying this is a break-in. It must just be as a trespassing, because there are no break-ins reported except the truck. So nothing was stolen in the video that was at night, and it must not be coming up in the police records as that. It's got to be as a trespassing or disturbance or something like that. After the first time the video captured someone in the house, Mr. English contacted law enforcement on a non-emergency number and made them aware of the unauthorized entry onto his property. He never used the word burglary. He never shared with any of the information with the McMichaels, whom he did not even know. Interesting. Nothing was ever stolen from the house. Okay, so if Mr. English didn't share the information with the McMichaels, then the McMichaels must know about that break-in through his police contacts, which because it's in the neighborhood. That's interesting. Nothing was ever stolen from the house, which again was a construction site. Even if there had been a robbery, however, the English family would not have wanted a vigilante response. That's okay. Which technically they're not vigilantes. They're operating under Georgia law. They would have entrusted the matter to the law enforcement authorities. On February 23rd, the English family was 2 hours away from the Satilla Shores neighborhood and was unaware of the tragedy that was unfolding. Mr. English was not the one who called 911 on February 23rd. The only crime that the homeowner has seen captured on the video is a senseless killing of Mr. Arbery. As a native of South Georgia and an attorney, I personally was following the story in the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution prior to the release of the video of the shooting. Based solely on Gregory McMichael's reported statement, my professional opinion was that this was a murder, possibly a capital murder. After seeing the video of the shooting, I wrote to Tom Durden, the prosecutor to whom the case has been assigned, and expressed that opinion and asked why the McMichaels had not been arrested. I reviewed the published letters written by the two prosecutors who previously handled the case. My professional opinion is that they are legally unsound, and there are questions in my mind regarding whether the first two prosecutors' handling of this case might have violated the Georgia bar rules of professional responsibility. I am emphasizing these facts to address the impression that some people have that the homeowners took part in the McMichaels' actions. The homeowners were shocked and deeply saddened by these events, which they learned of after the fact. The homeowners are parents, and they are heart-struck for Mr. Arbery's mother and father. Larry English and his family are praying for the Arbery's. Lee Merritt, an attorney for Arbery's mother, responded to the video as well. Our office has reviewed the surveillance video, which appears to show a person believed to be Ahmaud Arbery entering the property under construction. The individual remains on the property for under 3 minutes before continuing to jog down the road. This video is consistent with the evidence already known to us. Ahmaud Arbery was out for a jog. He stopped by a property under construction where he engaged in no illegal activity and remained only for a brief period. Okay. I'm pretty sure that if you're there without permission, I would just assume Georgia law would state that as trespassing. Like, if a cop rolled up at the time where Mr. Arbery was inside the house and he started walking out, and the cop said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" Mr. Arbery was like, "Oh, hey, officer, how you doing?" He's like, "Hey, do you live here?" And he said, "No." And he said, "Oh, do you have your ID on you?" And he says, "Yes." And they go through the whole rigmarole. There's a chance that he could be arrested for trespassing. You're on property that you're not supposed to be on. So I think that's a crime. It may not be a felony, but I'm pretty sure it's still a crime. Anyway, no illegal. Okay, yeah, still a crime. Ahmed did not take anything from the construction site. He did not cause any damage to the property. He remained for a brief period of time, was not instructed by anyone to leave, but rather left on his own according to left on his own accord to continue this jog. Ahmad's, whatever, however you say his first name. His actions in this empty house under construction were in no way a felony under Georgia law. Fair enough. I can consider that, but then you were just saying that there was no illegal activity, which I don't think is true. This video confirms that Mr. Arbery's murder was not justified, and the actions of the men who pursued him and ambushed him were unjustified. We reiterate, Mr. Arbery did not take part in any felony, had no illegal substances in his system, and was not armed, yet was shot 3 times with a shotgun at close range. Sincerely, Lee Merritt. Go fuck yourself, you dumb bitch. Okay, so I have some issues with this. I now think the McMichaels are right for doing this based on Georgia law. Again, Georgia law says if you see someone committing a crime, if they saw him come in and out of the house and then decided to give chase, told him to stop, he didn't, and then when they decided to, I guess, detain him, I don't know if they have the right to detain someone. I would guess so, maybe, I don't know. And he saw the gun, he fought back, at which point Mr. McMichael was justified in protecting himself and shot him. I I know the argument that we can't say who shot who because they're wrestling over the shotgun, that just a bit of a jostle is enough to move the trigger and cause the gun to go off, and maybe that's true, maybe not. At this point, Mr. Arbery is now responsible for his own death. I would say he was responsible for it before, but when I was under the impression that he hadn't done anything and there was no evidence to substantiate that he had done anything, it was somebody else who had killed him. Regardless, even though he decided not to continue to go on his jog, but now it's his own fault. So let me know what you guys think about the change in this, and more importantly, let me know whether you think this is any more racially motivated or not. We'll see you in the next one. Later.